committing crimes.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel ras&mas. I'm Rasmi and here's my husband Mason. Happy Sunday to every one of you out there, and thank you guys so much for being with us and subscribing to our channel. For those of you who are watching this video for the first time, you're welcome to join us and let's do this together. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel, okay? So without wasting much time, we're just going to get into today's video. And today's video, from the title, you guys already know what's going to be happening. So my husband will be sharing his story of things. Let me just say things that he has been through. Let me put it that way. Are you ready, babe?
Yeah.
So if it gets emotional or whatever, you guys should just understand, and let's get this going.
I'm not gonna give him like my entire life story from the time I was a child. I just I guess it's a story of stuff I've been through. One of our subscribers, we talked about sharing our like testimony, I guess, of how we came to God. I would say is a better way of putting it. And we said it a while ago in some videos, but with the moving process and everything, it's just been something that slipped our mind. So one of our subscribers reminded us of it, so I was like, you know what, I'll go first. I'll do mine first. So basically, I'll start off like, you know, from like the time I was about 14. Yeah. Well, when I was a kid, me and my parents, we were in church. We went to a church that grew up down the road from, and started playing competitive baseball, travel baseball, you know, and we kind of got out of the church, and I think that's whenever, like, you know, my older brothers were in high school, and during that time, you know, there wasn't a lot of, besides, you know, my parents being good parents, you know, we didn't have influence from pastors or preachers or anything like that during that time.
Yeah.
So fast forward, when I was in 9th grade, I just started following in footsteps, you know, and started drinking and smoking weed and stuff like that. And then I would say I did that for a long time.
Yeah.
For a long time. I mean, I have like kind of like anybody's testimony that is like this. I mean, I don't see nothing really that special in it, but a lot of people do. Because when I was in 9th and 10th grade, I was, you know, smoking weed and drinking. And
How old were you at this age that you were
14, 15, 16, and then when I started driving, I started doing, you know, different kind of drugs. And then I never really was the type to go to the club or anything like that, especially because I wasn't of age. But whenever I was like 17, I dated this girl in high school, and she introduced me to like going to the club in Atlanta. And so from there on, I just started going to the clubs and you know, doing other kinds of drugs. And I won't get into any details, but I spent a lot of time down there. And then, you know, because I played, let me just say this, I played baseball and football, and I was pretty good. You know, I had a couple of small scholarships that I could have taken to go play sports in college. But when I graduated high school, at that time I wasn't really too concerned with sports. I was more concerned with the party life. I was more concerned about having that lifestyle than, you know, doing what I should have done and gone and got a free education and played sports a little longer. Now I regret it, but I don't regret it. I wish I had taken the sports route, but I don't regret it because it's what made me who I am today.
Right.
But
so do you think like being surrounded with the kind of, I would say, friends or whoever people you were surrounded with influence you, or you think you know, just as you?
Well, you know, my family, my brothers were my biggest influence.
Right.
My brothers were my biggest influence because one of my brothers is 5 years older than me, and then the other ones are 8 and 9 years older than me. So, when I was 15, 16, 17, you know, they were still partying a lot.
Yeah.
And the only way to relate with my brothers, because they're an older age now.
Than you were?
Yeah. Now, the one that's 5 years older than me, I spent a lot of time with him. But my older brothers, you know, it was like they were older than me, you know, almost 10 years. So he's out of college. When I'm in middle school, he's in college, you know. I was just a little brother. But I was very influenced because I wanted to be like them. I wanted to hang out with them. And when I was hanging out with them, they were doing these things. For the longest time, they wouldn't let me do it. And then once I got a certain age, it was kind of like, you know, like, It's okay now. He's a certain age. Which is about 16, 17, 18. You know, started drinking when I was, 15, 14, 15. And then, but it's like now, but my influence was the people around me too, and music. Music was a big influence in my life. So like whenever I graduated high school and I was going to the clubs and stuff like that, me and that girl ended up breaking up, so I stopped going to the clubs a lot, and I just started, doing drugs in my hometown. And what got me is like I really loved football and baseball, having friends on the team and stuff like that. And so when I didn't have that anymore, and I seen some of my friends, or a lot of my friends were gone playing college football, I'd see it on Instagram and stuff, it made me miss it. So I found a certain group of people and I hung out with them for a long time, and I was involved, a lot in the life of crime, doing, and from that point on, I was in and out of jail, on probation, off probation, on probation. And, well, I got put on probation when I first graduated high school. I got into a fight, got put on probation, went all the way, ended up failing a drug test, and ended up getting it dismissed or something like that. And then I went like a year without being on probation. Then I got arrested for weed and got put back on probation. And from there, it's like I spent 3 years on probation. I couldn't get off. And for 2 years of it, I was in a drug program. Still hanging out with the same crowd, just couldn't do any drugs, or I'd go to jail. So, fast forward, I get off of probation, and whenever I get off of when I get out of that drug program, for a brief month, and this is after me and her had met,
When we met, you were still on probation.
When we met, if you've heard our story, we met at work.
You guys should go watch
that video. Go watch that video. When we met at work, I wasn't in the drug program, but I was still in my mind living another life. So I couldn't get drunk and I couldn't get high, but I would still hang around the people that did, and do the things, people that I shouldn't be doing.
So like when you were hanging around the people that, even though you were on probation, but still kind of hanging around with people that could influence you in a way that you didn't want to, like, how were you doing that? Did you end up trying to do what they were doing because it's hard, or?
I was never like a drug addict.
I know, not and understand that, but I'm saying, like, when you say you're used to having this, your friends, and you guys always do these things together, but now you're hanging around with them, but they're doing this thing, and did you just watch them do it, or you just do it while you're with them?
Are you talking about like drugs and stuff, or?
It could be weed, it could be drugs, any kind of drug. But
I didn't do any drugs.
Okay.
I didn't do any drugs. If I did, I had to take regular drug tests throughout the week, 3, sometimes 5 days a week, and
I remember that.
I wasn't able to do any drugs. Which, being around them and seeing them do it, I was putting myself in a situation that made it harder on myself, because I could do it. It was fine because I wasn't a drug addict, but it's like at the same time, I'm not like a full blown drug addict. You know what I'm saying? Or I wasn't. I was just. It was a social thing. So for me, when I see people doing it, it's like, dang, this sucks because everybody's having fun,
Yeah, and you can't.
And I'm the one that's not having fun. But I wasn't like itching, like, I gotta have it. You know what I'm saying? So, not to say drug addicts just do that, but like,
no,
coming from a family of
that
drug,
understands like the difference though. Yeah, but like what you're saying, because it's different. I mean, even though it builds up from baby step, because if you don't start from the little part, you can't end up being the other way. But that's just what you're trying to explain.
Yeah, and so I ended up getting off of drug court, which is what the drug program was called. I ended up getting off of drug court, and for like a brief month, I went back to my old lifestyle. I was smoking weed, you know, and yeah, for about a brief month, I would say a month and a half.
Yeah, I remember that.
And a certain situation happened with me, and I heard God speak to me, and He said, if you want to live this lifestyle, then this is the way that your life can go, you know, for the rest of your life. Because I was, you know, in a pretty dangerous situation. And from that moment on, like, I started going to church by myself in the morning because I worked night shift, so I could get off on Saturday evening when I worked maintenance. I would get off on Saturday evening, and I would go Sunday morning to church by myself, and I did that for about 2 weeks, and then I decided to get baptized, and I got baptized by myself. None of my family was there. I didn't tell anybody. I just decided to change my life, and then I struggled not with, you know, like, and I still like, it's easy. It was easy for me to put down drinking, to put down smoking, to put down all that stuff. That wasn't the problem. The biggest problem was like tobacco, which is me and her fought about a lot. And, you know, just every now and then I would, even as a born again Christian, or, you know, after I got baptized and I decided to change my life, I still struggle with it, but it's something that like I was growing. But I mean, yeah, I mean, it's something that you know, I try to tell my parents all the time. You know, it's like my mom and dad have never done drugs, never smoked cigarettes. You know, very rarely did they ever drink alcohol. We never had alcohol in the house. Like, it was very rarely, and they would always go out like with my aunt, or I said my aunt.
I don't know why you said that. I was like, I wanted to give you a look, but I was like,
yeah, they would like head. If my mom goes out with my aunt, or like my dad goes out with his friend or something like that, and that was like, and it's still to this day, it's very, very, very rare. But
I don't know where you guys came from.
And so like, you know, it's something that like even if it is hereditary, we didn't learn it from my parents. You know, which is something that I always stress to my parents. Like, y'all did the job that you were supposed to do. You took us all to church. We all got saved as children, you know, and it was just, I believe that time when I was playing travel baseball and my brothers were in their late teens to like in their teenage years, that they weren't going to church, that, you know, peer pressure and the temptation of the enemy got to my brothers. And, you know, all those years, then fast forward, now I'm in high school, and it's like it trickled into me.
So like now that you're an adult, like now that you're thinking, you have this mentality that you have now, with what you're saying, that maybe you believe that this was why, you know, maybe things got out of hand. What did you learn from that?
What did I learn from that?
Yeah, from that particular, from the particular thing that you just said now.
Like, from my brothers not being in church,
right? Like, what did you learn from that now that you're an adult? Yeah. How
important it is having, you know, spiritual people around you, like people that truly will, if you need prayers, pray for you, and having an outlet to go to talk to people and go and get advice from people, you know, which is unfortunate because, like, as a lot of people, especially in the church, and I'm sure in other religions, there's people that are like this. Like, you have truly good, righteous followers of their, or practicers of their faith, and then you have people that manipulate the faith and that manipulate the people that truly follow the faith. You know what I'm saying? Like, they fake it till they make it, and then there's the true, real believers.
Yeah.
And so I think like sometimes that affects people and they get out of the church. But you always have to remember that not everybody's like that, you know, and you just have to find that congregation where you see more good than you see could they be good or could they be bad, you know what I'm saying? And even those people that are questionable, you just have to have spiritual discernment to be able to see, like, are they really like in it for the right reasons, you know?
Yeah.
But there's always good people out there. But I think that was the biggest thing, like not having me growing up with kids in the church, not having my brothers in the church, like it was that, I believe that was what. Now it couldn't have been that. It could be something else.
Not like
that's
you're
what
blaming it on that situation. But I was just saying like what you learned from that.
I just see that as like that played a big role in it, you know. So, but I mean that's my story. You know, nothing really too big. You know, just like anybody else's story that's struggled with, you know. That's anybody that hasn't been saved has a struggle with, you know. Mine just happened to be, you know, doing drugs and trying to be something I'm not.
Yeah.
And you know, to get acceptance from people when I just needed the acceptance of God because I was doing wrong for so long and I knew I wasn't accepted by God, so I tried to be accepted by people. And I thought that would fulfill me and make me feel better, but it didn't, you know. And there's a lot of people that don't even do drugs or anything like that, but they're not saved. And they have their own things that they struggle with. It may be anger, it may be sex, lust, it may be this or that. You know what I'm saying? It could be anything. But you know, for me, the biggest thing was I decided enough was enough. You know, enough was enough. I was tired of living in a life of shadows and a life where I had to watch my back and a life where I had to negotiate with myself whether I'm lying to myself or whether the devil's lying to me or whether God's telling, you know, it was just not knowing who's talking inside my head outside of my own self. If that makes any sense to anybody. You know, because yeah, we talk to ourselves and, you know, everybody talks to themselves, but it's whenever you're not talking to yourself, but you hear a voice, which one are you listening to? You know, is that God? Or do you know that's not God? That's just the devil trying to pretend and play to be God. You know, and I was tired of that. So, that's my story. You got anything to say?
I really don't have much to say, but I will ask you something that if you would like to say, what would you advise somebody?
What I would advise somebody is,
for example, let me cut you a little bit. Like I want you, like, what advice would you give, like, the younger ones that maybe, you know, this is America, this is the world, and things are changing and becoming more and more.
Yeah.
So, what advice would you give to the younger ones?
The advice that I would give to young people is, don't be afraid to be different. In my circumstance, being different meant not partying, it meant not doing these things. That's what being different was, and I was afraid to be that. And also, don't be afraid to stand up for, you know, what you believe in. But for the people that don't believe in Jesus and don't know Jesus, I would say, yeah, I mean, outside of,
did I even say that loud?
Yeah, outside of seeking God, if you know, I'm trying to think, like, you can tell young people all the time, seek God. He's, you know, He's gonna help you. He'll be there for you. But you know, it's just, you have to evaluate your surroundings and evaluate the people you're putting yourself around. Are they good for you?
Friends.
You know, or are they bad for you? Because you are the company you keep. So evaluate what's going on around yourself and say, is this somewhere I want to be?
Mm-hmm.
Is this the type of person I want to be?
Yeah.
You know, and if it's not, then seek somebody or seek a group of people that you would like to be like, or you would like to, you know, or your parents. Like for me, I always noticed people in the church were always happy, and not everybody in the church is always happy. That's not what I'm saying. What I mean is, like, you know, they go through stuff and they have trials and tribulations and they go through pain, but in the midst of that pain, they can have peace and they can seek the goodness in it. You know, and that's something that I wanted. I was tired of not knowing what to do whenever I was hurt, versus now whenever I get hurt, it don't hurt me that bad. I know that it's not the end. I know that it's not. I know that God has something for me, and this is supposed to happen. Like whatever I'm going through in that moment, if it doesn't happen, either I won't grow, or you know, that's the way I see it. Like when I'm hurt or when stuff's happening to me, sometimes, you know, it's necessary.
I was still sitting here looking.
Mm-hmm.
That was good, babe.
So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope that you I know I didn't get into too many details about like the type of things I did and all that stuff, but that's neither here nor there. Just know that I was involved in drugs and crime and all that stuff, and for a while I lived a dark life, you know, but I've seen the light. So
it's not fun.
Yeah, it's not fun when you look back and you see how dark it was, and now I see how bright my life is. You know, I just thank God, because I always say if he didn't bring me this woman right here, I don't know if I would have ever listened to her.
Don't give me the credit, babe.
I'm not giving you credit. I said if he wouldn't have brought me you, I would not have listened to him on my own.
Yeah.
You know, the whole time he was calling me to come home, I wasn't listening. And then when I met you, it was like there was something about who you were as a person that made me reevaluate my faith.
I'm glad.
You know what I'm saying?
I get to be part of it.
Yeah.
And we're just going to watch you grow and grow and grow and grow and grow and grow.
So that's all I got. You know, we still got some more stories coming up. My wife's next, but we'll let her do that in her own time. It's not an easy topic still. It's still kind of an open wound.
You need to be like, I don't know, maybe when God make it right, it will just happen.
Yeah.
But I'm not feeling it. I don't know if I'm supposed to feel it. I think it's sometimes just supposed to be said and get over it.
Yeah. But, you know, that's it. If you guys enjoyed this video, like it, comment, and share it. And if you're new here, remember, don't forget to hit that notification button. So,
yeah, so you'll be notified when we post a video. Let me help you.
After you've hit the subscribe button.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I said notification. I meant hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. And
comment down below on the videos you guys will want to see. Mm-hmm. You know, don't always forget to comment. And share our videos.
Yep. Share
our videos, guys. Just keep sharing them. We appreciate that so much. And that's it for today. We're going to leave you guys now. And we'll see you guys in the next video.
Peace out.
I love you all.